Iron Capital Talks is the podcast where we aim to interview C-level executives, founders, real builders from blockchain investments, digital finance, general speaking, successful people in the wealth industry, and ultimately, guys, to reveal here what does it take to become a successful investor, what are these people actually do differently, the mindset behind you need to be equipped with to play the game with the right cards. With Iron Capital Talks, I want to present to you the journey of these successful entrepreneurs, and hopefully everyone will understand that there is no such a thing like shortcuts, overnight rewards, or quick schemes. And it's all about the discipline of executing the plan religiously and a lot of constant work and effort when it comes to self-education. In today's episode, the conversation is with Mena Botros, with a degree in business administration, finance, and technology management, currently the founder of Double Morgan Summits. He helps future tech growth stage startups to get founded and create strategic partnerships in the Middle East, particularly in the UAE. He brought tens of blockchain and AI startups in the UAE, facilitated over 100 million in investment transactions in the last 4 years, connected more than 500 GCC-based investors to future technology companies from over 20 countries, and consistently bringing innovation in the industry. Former head of marketing and key figure for Bean Handy Enterprises, is not only a great marketer but a real builder, highly motivated hard worker who achieve outstanding results. Mena, welcome to Iron Capital Talks, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This was an amazing introduction. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm happy to be here.
Your outstanding results in the space here. I was literally, super inspired when I got in touch with you for the first time. The level you communicate, the way how you manage things around you, the discipline you have, and is absolutely inspired for me. That's why I was super keen to have you here. You can provide a lot of beautiful insights when it comes to investments and self-management.
Everything you said, those are the things that I value. I have goosebumps. Discipline, character building, professionalism. So yeah, thanks for having me.
So I want to start this conversation with the point where are you coming from in terms of when it was the first touch with crypto? Like how did you hear exactly? Because everyone has a beautiful story attached to first time to Bitcoin, and I want to find more about that.
So I had this friend in 2017. He's still my friend, and his girlfriend at the time came to us and she said, somebody tried to hire me for a job for Bitcoin. And then we just looked at each other, he started to ask her more questions. What's Bitcoin? We started to do research. He started to do actually a lot of research. And then he called me one day. He said, listen, I have something that's going to completely change this world. You need to come now. And that's how we got into Bitcoin. Literally from a random girl that was in our circle who just tried to get hired for a Bitcoin job. That's how it started.
And then how did you approach exactly the technology behind the code itself? I know you have an IT background.
That's right.
So I'm assuming that you've been in position to evaluate from this
That's
perspective a little bit the technology. So how that work for you?
This is a great point, all right? The reason that I think I created this little micro success that I have in this industry is because I genuinely believed in the technology. As a kid, I used to play like a lot of video games. And when I was unhappy with the characters in the video games, I would go and edit the folders and like put in cars and stuff. I'd play like these Need for Speed games and I'd put in different cars just like to have better stuff. So when I understood the technology behind Bitcoin, which is you can be your own bank and you can remove financial intermediaries. And when our first customer sent us like $12,500 for a service using Ethereum, and it cost us like $0.0001, and it came in a second, and the person was in the United States, I was sold. I understood that this is literally the most revolutionary thing that has ever happened to moving money using the internet, right? Because it's like banks and then PayPal and then Bitcoin. So when I saw it like this, I never thought of myself as a crypto guy. I just thought this makes sense. It's a technology that's better than anything we had. It's most likely going to be the future. Very simple analysis. And then the way we started was we didn't have enough, I didn't have enough capital to do something like my own project, or do an ICO or any of that stuff. And the least barrier to entry, least capital intensive business I could do in Bitcoin was an event. And at the time, there's like an event every day of the year. And that's how I started Double Morgan and Double Morgan Summits. I started to do events. And we did one of the first ever events in the entire UAE back in 2017. And then I started to gear the events to help projects come and raise funds and do business. So not just be a marketing show, but also, you come to the event and you gain business and build relationships. But that's how it started.
How long you been here?
I came here in 1994. My father randomly got a job to come here. We used to live in Egypt, and he got this random job to come here completely by accident, and he brought me and my mom here.
I'm 100% sure that everybody knows the journey of Dubai and the level of development they are doing here. That's why, like back to 94, Dubai was literally a very basic environment, to put it like. Even though a lot of stuff they were running in the space here, but comparing to now, it was what is happening now is absolutely beautiful journey. So that's why being here since 94, like you've seen a lot. I know you are the founder of Double Morgan Summits, one of the premium, the best crypto events in the space. Thank here. Only 5-star luxurious hotel all the time. The etiquette is super high.
Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure to attend your events. The operational part, everything is in place. Since you enter at the door, someone's welcoming you in a very nice way, directly give you the feeling of being part of something big. Is absolutely beautiful. How do you implement the entire strategy? So I want to go a little bit for people to understand your massive work and effort behind, planning, create, managing. What are your challenges?
So this is a good question. It's a very big question. Yeah,
I'm sure you have answers.
So one of the main things about doing, professional service businesses like events is that they're easy to enter, but they require a lot of time and work investment. Like the work ethic needs to be very, very, very high. So to do these events, you need capital. The more capital you have, the better the events are, obviously, right? But it requires a lot of time and management and personal organization and prioritization skills. So I'm the kind of person who I would rather I'd rather focus on the things that I'm good at, which is, sales, marketing, managing people, stuff like this. But then I like to outsource everything, right? So I like to read a lot about the gym. I just enjoy it. But when I walk into the gym, I have a personal trainer. I pretend to be the dumbest person in this industry, right? And I want that person to completely fix this part of my life. So I think that's a key thing, is being able to just, delegate, right? But it's more than that, being able to let go and just having good organization skills. So to get to these events that are 5-star and all this stuff, it just requires working with a lot of people and adapting to change, and things fall apart. Like a day before the event, something can go wrong. You could lose a permit or a license or something like this, right? And you'd have to just be able to fix it. So it takes a lot of self-organization, prioritization, and adaptability to, problems.
Do you think the ultimate skill is people skill? The foundation of every successful entrepreneur, in my opinion, is the people skill. The better you are at people, the better you can, execute and implement your strategies.
Yeah, I agree. Business is people. Literally, business is being around and interacting and serving people, whether it's through products or services. But I have a philosophy, all right? Yes, I think you have to be excellent at managing people, all right? But it's a huge skill. Not everybody could do it. I'm not the best people manager. I can work with people. I think I can get people to like me because I like them as well. I try to be genuine, but I try to use technology to my advantage. My goal when I run a business, which is very aggressive, and a lot of people probably don't like me for it, is I try to use tech to keep employee overhead as low as possible. And I'm very ruthless about this. I don't be emotional. Like, this person has a family and they have kids. It's business, right? So I try to use technology to automate things, to bring it as close to as little people as possible. Because I also believe that managing people is very hard, right? That's why, like you said, the people who are good at it, they go so far in life. But it's truly a talent and it's hard to do. And it takes a lot of energy. So if you have less people to manage, and you utilize technology, I think you can go further, which I'm sure is controversial, but that's how I see it.
You need to have the ability when the business requires so. You need to take the right decision without being attached. You just need to take it. That's it. Shake hands. It's business, nothing personal. And see you on the next opportunity.
What I try to do to avoid these moments is I utilize technology as my base for managing people. That way I don't have these experiences of having to let people go because the market changed. We've run events when Bitcoin was 18K and then it went down to 3K and then it went up to 20K and down and 60K and down, right? So in such a volatile industry, because even though we're an events industry, the people we need to serve are crypto people, right? So the price of the crypto market affects how they're able to do business. So you can imagine if you just didn't utilize technology and you just wanted to be a people person in a volatile industry, you're going to have to be firing and hiring people all the time, which is very, very dangerous. So what I do is I try to just be a tech person first, and then all the other things next, like sales and marketing and all that stuff. But tech is the foundation of everything. So now, we call it AI, but it's really not AI. It's just Python coding automation, right? Which is like, I want to do 5 things, send an email, then pull the data, blah, blah, blah. So these things need to happen through automation rather than you having 2 assistants, right? Like one assistant manage the automation, whatever, the bot, to get the results. So I guess that's my philosophy.
In a very back end, every successful business, right? It has to have this level of faster implementation, because any opportunity, it has a time sensitive feature attached.
Great point.
It's available today, and you don't have to take it for granted for tomorrow. Not only because of the opportunity itself, but because the guy next to your room is going after it before
That's
you.
right.
In this way, he just plugged in a software and done.
That's right.
How do you position your event to be efficient in terms of partnerships when you bring projects into your business? What's the key element you are looking?
Again, this is another great question. But so we focus on Web3 and a little bit of AI when we do our events. We have Crypto V Summit, Meta V Summit. I think you maybe came to that one as well.
All of them.
No, thank you for coming. So when we look for these projects to bring them to the event, first of all, we look for growth stage projects who have already raised funds. Pre-seed projects are not really our expertise. And I'm the kind of person who really likes to be good at one thing. And I'm okay to lose out on everything else, but just be good at one thing. So we focus on these growth stage crypto projects, and they have to have a strong team, of course. They have to have a valid reason to use crypto. I'll give you an example. In 2017, 2018, we were running first ever blockchain events. I would have, people from the government and stuff show up and be like, what's Bitcoin and stuff? And I'd educate them.
So early stages.
And work with them. And there was something that we noticed. It was the time of ICOs, if you remember. People raising 50 million in like 10 days. It's crazy, like 20 million in a week. It was nuts. So one of the things that I noticed in my own event, when I had like 50 companies, right, is that some people were utilizing crypto to raise funds, but they weren't crypto projects, which is very interesting because crypto made finance accessible to the individual, right? So it used to be just accessible to hedge funds and financial intermediaries like banks and people who are institutions, right?
Yes.
And crypto made it so that the individual, I want to invest $1, $1,000, $10, whatever. And this is amazing. This is actually one of the big points of crypto. But a lot of companies weren't crypto companies, but they were using ICOs to just raise funds. So you could have a coffee shop, but run an ICO for it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that investors were asking projects, and it got us to also be more aware, is that what do you use the blockchain for? What do you use blockchain technology for? So it's questions like these that you need to ask these projects. And I think that the whole FTX thing showed that sometimes, no matter how smart you are, you forget to ask the basics. So when we reach out to these projects, we reach out to these growth stage crypto projects, and we make sure to ask the basics.
You said that I want to be good at one thing only. This one, guys, is absolutely massive value. If you go back and zoom in this particular sentence, I want to be good at one thing only. This is the highest level of efficiency.
That's right.
Once you are able to remove and be in position to say no, even the opportunity looks good at the starting point to you, right? You say, okay, it might be something in here. In the moment you start putting your even 20% from your efforts into that second opportunity, you actually deduct the first one with 20%. So you deaccelerate the growth of your main focus and your main business with 20%, which is not a good thing. The secret behind, like if we can say secret, because there is no secret, right? Everybody is running like, what's your secret? What?
Yeah.
There is no secret, bro. It's like
That's
insanely
right.
amount of work and discipline all the time. This is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is a sport, and it's the greatest sport that you can ever play. It's so complete. It involves fighting. It involves negotiating. It involves character building, discipline, all those things. So being good at one thing, it's like you said, right? You're going to be good at one thing, you're going to gain a lot of skills. Skills are invaluable, intangible assets that are very valuable, right? You can have skills that will help you make money for the rest of your life. But when you start taking opportunities from the side, yeah, you might make $1 million here, 500K here, but you deduct from the value you're trying to build, which is one skill. So every time you go sideways, you just waste more time, and you stop the thing that can one day bring you $1 billion, which is the main thing that you're good at. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's here's another thing, right? Long-term thinking. It sounds so simple, but it's so difficult to implement, because when you sit at home, right, at night, and you have friends going out, or like you could be out talking to girls, whatever, right? And you're sitting there on your desk, and you want to send another 100 emails, and it's 1 a.m., right? It's easy to feel the things that happen in the moment, which is I'm lonely, or FOMO, I need to go out, all these things. But that's why long-term thinking is hard. If you can overcome that, you can be the greatest entrepreneur in the world. It's also sacrifice, right? Like delayed gratification.
Yes.
These are all huge things. So I think that's why it's how you do things matters more than what you do. Because I see a lot of entrepreneurs trying to run after cool stuff. Like, I want to build the next tech, but if you don't have those things, it doesn't matter.
From my experience is, of course, I've been in the shoes in my journey as an entrepreneur, as an investor currently, but particularly as an entrepreneur, where I was literally jump on every single opportunity. Like, I want to do it. I was saying yes to absolutely almost everything.
Shiny star syndrome.
Like, because the hunger I had to be successful, but actually it was a big mistake, because when you go and running after 10 rabbits, like everybody knows.
You're not going to catch any of them.
So I was in position to understand that the moment you add the second opportunity, you halve both of them
100%.
in terms of possibility to success, and you double the time. Like if the first one required like a year to complete 100%, now the chances are 50% and it takes 2 years because you just added another. And imagine when you go after 3 or 4, we are in position with 5% chances to success for each. So
That's
it
right.
doesn't make any sense. Rather
right.
than just understand where you can have the biggest impact
And
you
go
know,
all in on that.
and just execute and build in that direction, and you can weaponize your strategy in this way much more efficient. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It's a massive key element to be implemented. I want to understand from this part, because I don't want to go a little bit farther than this part with the mindset.
Yeah.
Because I can feel that you are a big player in this part, and you are
It's all mindset.
huge fan of this element as well. What do you think for these people who are like, what will be your best advice, for people who are maybe are in 20s, they want to build a business, maybe they don't know exactly the what does it take in terms of mindset. What do you see like a key element when it comes to self-discipline or in this area of mindset as a crucial
You ask
thing to
these
have?
deep questions that are very valuable. Like they need to be answered, but they're very deep questions. Okay, here's what I would say. If you want to start a business, all right, your motivation needs to be simple. It needs to sound almost superficial. And this is against what these gurus say. You have to have a purpose and blah, blah, blah. I didn't start like that. I started because, whatever, like I had a girlfriend who broke up with me or whatever, right? I wanted to be more high value man. So I thought, okay, the average person works a job. Yeah, sure, you can make a lot of money. Successful entrepreneurs can make even more money and they're more free and they have this whole thing around them. So I tried to do that. And then I'm like, okay, if I can get to $10,000 a month, that will dramatically improve my life. Let's try to do that. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? If I can get to $1 million a year, let's try to do that. And now that I've reached this stage, I think about more stuff like how can I leave an impact, how can I maybe help people a bit more? You get what I'm saying? So it needs to be organic. But I think that somebody in their 20s, they need to be okay with the superficial needs that they have for starting a business. Like, I just want to make a bit more money. That's a great way to start. And then actually starting a business just requires a lot of research. Being okay with being lonely, like sitting there and just researching and, ignoring the world around you for a bit.
Yeah.
And getting into that research and then trying things out. Let me tell you a quick story, okay? This is nuts. I started my first business here in Dubai when I was 13 years old. I used to play this game, World of Warcraft. Do you know it?
Absolutely.
So I used to play this game, World of Warcraft, and I was addicted to it, all right? I used to play 8 hours a day. I couldn't stop. And the fact that you can improve your character and work with the community and kill a dragon and get more cool stuff, it was just mind-blowing to me. So I walk into an internet cafe one day, and there's this kid who obviously looked rich, okay? And I sat next to him, and I'm playing the game, and he looks over, and he's like, your character is insane. How did you do this? For me, it was normal to be like addicted to games. I didn't understand that I was playing too much. And he said, I'm going to give you 1,000 dirhams, which is $300. So I'm going to give you $300 and I will buy your character. I'll buy your account. And, I just said, yeah, sure. And once he gave me that little bit of cash in my hand, I found a new game. And I started to have shifts with my friends. Like we had one computer, so one guy would, I'd play like 8 hours, my friend would play 8 hours. And I started to sell these accounts. And there was a month where I had like $2,000. I bought like a bicycle and a skateboard.
Yeah.
It was nuts. So I've been trying things out for more than a decade, right? Even more than that. So this is very important. Like just going out and trying to do stuff.
Absolutely. I see the self-discipline as a backbone, and then according to what you just said, is take small bets. if you guys, you are in position to, I don't know, have like, let's say $500, $1,000 per month, right? Don't fancy $1 million or don't fancy $5 million. Fancy the next best move that you can do it right now.
Exactly.
That will bring you to 1,100. Patrick Bet David, right?
Yeah.
He was mentioning in his one of his podcasts that is always a double game, right? Just double your money as a strategy. Go to 2,000, go to 4,000, go to 8,000, and so on. So yeah, this one is a massive thing that when you are just getting started, okay, it's cool to have like a long-term vision. You know, I want to be able to do $1 million a day, right? It's absolutely beautiful, but you need to have your feet on the ground and really see that your next best move is not $1 million move because you are not in that position right now.
Very well said. You're right.
So your next best move is to call your friend and develop a strategy to sell
Literally.
the NFT in the game for $100. That's your next best move. And start from there.
Yep.
Organically, naturally, understand the environment and then you grow.
It's a game. It has to be a game. Here's how this is my philosophy, okay? I'm a very serious person, okay? Like sometimes too intense for people, right? But when it comes to business, it's a game. I'm not serious at all. And that's why I think I can last longer. I don't have these burnout, you know, like people say burnout. I don't experience burnout, all right? If I get annoyed, I just go to the gym and I come back. But it's because I treat it as a game. And if you treat, you know, the serious things in life as a game, you will have a good time and you'll be like, okay, cool, I got to 2,000. Let's get, like you said, you know, let's get to 4,000 and let's get to 8,000. And then it becomes really fun and you stop being so connected to egotistical things like, I want to be a billionaire, you know, and I want to do this so that I can look cool and all that stuff. And you just actually get results. So I think it's a good idea to treat it as a game.
I want to share with you guys that we never spoke about this. We never had, but I like to gamify my life a lot. The way how I play mentally is every single thing in my life is an NFT. Really.
Nice,
I really think in this way. So I think as you, Mena, you are NFT in my game.
Yeah.
But in order to unlock Mena as NFT, I need to do certain things in my life because Mena comes in the game at a certain level. Right. If I quit at level 1, I will never meet Mena. What brought me here? It brought me here a lot of years of self-discipline. 100%. And maybe at one point I will share my entire journey. Like I literally spent almost 2 years locked in the house, working 18 hours a day. Yeah. I saw the light just 3 times in 18 months.
You gotta have vitamin D supplements.
Like obsessed with my business in e-commerce that time. So that brought me here to be able to, you know, host this podcast, to meet people like you, and now, you know, I can absorb even more information. This podcast is an NFT. I really like this
gamification.
Gamification is working very well. If you think about life in this way, just have in mind that when you just not quitting, right, you are able to unlock certain people, certain situations, events, or opportunities, business opportunities, just because of that, because you didn't quit at level 1.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. You know what I really appreciate about what you said is that you gamified your life to the things that you like, which is, you know, Web3 investing, NFTs, all that stuff. So maybe that's a key point here, is that gamify your life to the things that you like. If you're a finance guy, gamify it to stocks, right? Like now I can access, you know, this kind of stocks, and now I'm not just a broker, I'm working with hedge funds, and make it into levels. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I used to listen to this guy who helped me change my mindset. I was like 19 years old when I first picked up like one of these self-help books. And I started listening to a guy named Bob Proctor. Have you heard of him?
Bob
Proctor.
Yeah.
And he used to say, you know, whether you believe in God or a creator or whatever you believe in, right? We were created from something, even if you believe in just like science, like atoms and the universe. So If we were created from the creator or the universe, then we come from that same energy, right? So human beings are meant to be creators. This is when we're happiest. And this is a big problem today. Everybody's trying to be happy through technicalities. But it doesn't work like this. Your source of happiness is creation. You need to create things. So, in your case, like you said, bringing people together, and this makes you happy. For me, it's strange for me, like utilizing tech to automate things. It makes me happy. Like systemizing businesses genuinely makes me happy. And it took me a long time to accept that. I was like, really, am I that much of like a nerd deep down? But I accepted it. And so creation, like you said, is really the thing that will bring you ultimate happiness. And it can't be tied to monetary value, right? Because your creation might not make you a billionaire, but if you're good at it, it will make you all the money you ever need. But it might not be a billionaire, right? But if you look at it like this, you won't do it. You won't actually create the things you want to create. Yes. And this is a big problem. Yeah. It's like a FOMO thing, right?
The most important thing, which we keep mentioning, the most important because there are so many, but some of them are really, in top of everything, is rather than acting and running after being a billionaire, like financially, you need to be in position to have a billionaire's mindset, because that's what is going to bring you in a point where you'll be billionaire financially. First, you need to build your mindset to start thinking as a billionaire, to act like a billionaire, constantly working on your network, your ability to communicate, to market yourself, to be in position to bring value at the table where you are and be valuable for your community. That's the billionaire mindset. And this ability, of course, is not overnight. Success is not like you can take it in 1 week. It's a lot of self-discipline and self-education. You have to put yourself in position to, constantly absorb information, filter, and understand what's not.
Yeah, this is why success is hard. Is because you need to be the things that you need to be the symptoms or the characteristics of success, and honestly be okay with not knowing where it's going to lead. And once you accept that, things start to happen in your life. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to expect yourself to just sit there and work for a year with no money and not know if it will make you money or not, because our society is not built like this. You have to pay rent and stuff. So that's why entrepreneurs are seen as the crazy people. They're the people who don't care. They're like, I'm okay to be late on my rent. And as messed up as that sounds, it's disruptive to the ecosystem. I want to achieve what I want to achieve, and I'm okay to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's difficult. So I understand when people can't sit there and work and stuff. But yeah, this brings me to this next point. If I sit down and work 10 hours a day, 50% of that is mindset work, journaling, reflective thoughts. Seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
And working that 50% on my mindset makes the 5 hours of technical work, emailing and marketing work and communicating, it makes that 50% 10 times more effective.
Yes.
Than if I didn't do the reflecting and journaling and all that stuff.
What happened is you position your brain to go vertical, to go deep, because you can't just come from the beach. You spent 5 hours swimming or something like that, and then open computer and start thinking in a very deep way about certain business moves. It doesn't work like that.
You got to get into the flow.
You need to, it's like a soft landing, wire your brain to create momentum. And once you have this momentum build, sometimes it takes an hour. Some people, they can just plug in much more quickly. But in my experience, it takes like between 20 minutes to 45 minutes to get into that mental frame of a creator, like being able to generate moves, to understand, and actually access those NFTs, like see the NFT first. Right? Create the NFT mentally and see, this is where I'm going to call Mena and to propose this, to meet this guy and create the environment, right? Take the NFTs and put the environment and then execution. That's why you spend time,
100%.
sometimes
Momentum
hours,
is-
just reflect, you know?
When we built the first event we did in 2017, all right? The event was on January 1st, 2018. So we started building it like end of 2017. It was our first time going out and selling sponsorships, okay? And it was, you know, we've been pushing and pushing and pushing, and we had a certain value for that sponsorship. This is how much we needed to sell it for the event to be successful, okay? And there was a moment, you know, we spent two months building the website, researching, make sure everything's perfect, and then we started going to market. And I was leading the sales at the time, the sales and the lead generation, which is really my thing. That's what I like. And there was a point 3 weeks into the sales where we haven't sold anything, right? And there was a night, it was literally 4 a.m. And an hour before at 3 a.m., one of the partners said, you know what, guys, let's cut the sponsorship value in half. It's okay, we'll just break even this event, right? And we needed to sell it for a certain amount, but he said, let's cut it in half. And me and one of the other entrepreneurs, instead of going out for a drink and accepting, you know, micro failure after 3 months of working for nothing, right?
Yeah.
We decided, you know what? Let's stay 1 hour more. 1 more hour. Let's just stay 1 more hour. And it was 4 a.m. And right before we gave up, I called an American client. It was our first client. And, you know, he was in Miami. He just woke up like 8 it's like 4 a.m. in Dubai, 8 a.m. in Miami. And he said, yeah. I saw your email. Sure. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll send over the Ethereum. And I took that as, you know what, whatever, he's not going to do it. And as we're about to walk away and end the night, he sent over the transfer, and our business, you know, remained here. But if you gave up that last minute before things worked out, this business would have been half the size, and it would have not been worth it. And then everybody suffers. The entrepreneur doesn't make you know, the impact he wants. It's difficult though. It's difficult because it's like, how do you know when to give up and when to not give up? It's a tough question.
Yes.
There's no guidance. There's no guidance. And that's why entrepreneurs who make it, sometimes it looks like magic. And I think that's what people call luck. It's not. It's just people who refuse to give up. They're like, you know what? I'm okay to be broke. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
And then this is when it can work out.
It's just a matter of be present. Like, okay, this is the situation now. The situation is bad, not me. So I'm keep doing
nicely
it.
said. I like
I'm
that.
keep doing it because I can fix this, right? So it's just a matter of short period, which okay is not aligned with what I want, but is the period is not me. So don't put yourself in position to question your abilities to execute. It's just a matter of changing the environment.
Yeah, that's very well said.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to look at it. I guess that's another point, is that you have to find ways to look at things that doesn't affect you and helps you keep going.
Because there is not a journey, it's just you versus you.
So
and go forward.
So let me ask you a question, right? As a VC investor, okay? How do you do these character analysis? How do you know somebody has the stamina to keep going, or the mindset to be adaptable and not get down and keep pushing? How do you do this stuff? How can you sit there and understand?
From the very first touch, it is a serious conversation about the project, but behind the scenes, intentionally bring people into a comfort zone. And then
so that they
in
reveal
that
how they
comfort
are?
zone, they will be able to reveal more stuff naturally, you know? And I want to see what's in there, in that room. Like, because a part of the financial part with the project, I want to see what's behind the scenes, like what you literally want when you have millions of dollars with your project. Who is the CEO behind the $1 million? If I'm able to scan that and read it, I can have a very accurate decision.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
But
I think that
this
can
one-
be turned into a science somehow.
Mena, we need to wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
I think people
My pleasure.
understood a little bit better what it takes to be successful.
It's all character stuff, all mindset character stuff.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And of course, we'll keep in touch. And yes, guys, You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Iron Capital News. Please drop a comment, tell us how we did it, if you learned something, if you like to see a specific person, founder, C-level executive, real builders in the space you want us to interview in our podcast. As you know, I'm the man of my community. I will do everything possible for this, to bring here at the table successful entrepreneurs to see their journey and the mindset behind. This is a very powerful thing to reveal. And yes, see you on the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.